All you multi-talented, multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless feet will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. Oh, no applause? You're all fired.
Now that you've reached the stage in your life where quality television is important, Nubian TV is a Black network that speaks to your lifestyle. Nubian TV is the world's first digital network devoted to the upscale and political lifestyles of Black people. Nubian TV's programming includes politics, travel, fashion, food, automotive, arts and culture, civil rights, music, and more. Watch now on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or watch globally at nubiantv.net. Nubian TV, it's what you want to watch.
Come with me if you want to live a more delicious life.
Well, maybe we should get in the van.
In this world, we don't get to control much. The past, male pattern baldness.
Leggies.
Got one right now. The urge to puff that bubble wrap. But there is one thing we do get to choose every single day: what we eat. Welcome to the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment. We have everything you want, didn't know you wanted, and some things you didn't know were possible. Because we believe if you're not having fun, you're not living free. So come on, let's live a little.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money! Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good. Very good. Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Good morning, America. I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, Lara, Ginger.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Lord Jesus. Well, hello to you, and you, child. Listen, it is hot across the country. It's pouring down rain in other parts. And Lord Jesus, I hope you are inside the house. Because I am. Oh, man. You know, there's a jingle that says, Bob's Mobile Homes, we're home, sweet home, from Little Rock, Arkansas. That's how I'm feeling right now, being here with all of you. Higher is Wayne, low is available, but either way, we are live on tour. Let me turn down this music, rather. And let me take down this iconic intro here. Yes, indeed. You see that virtual tour background. Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music. Yes, you do. But then there is me. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Ooh, glad to have y'all here. Yes, indeed. So let's get started here. I'm going to give you the context of what is going on here before we get to the lawsuit. And yes, I do have the lawsuit. Okay. So from MediaTakeout.com, Fat Joe sued for $20 million by ex-hype man alleging intercourse with minors. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here, Brave, all these lawsuits? Your guess is as good as mine. By the way, I know about the Wendy Williams lawsuit. That is from Kelvin Hunter. Wendy says she has nothing to do with it, so I am not believing that lawsuit for shit. Kelvin Hunter is a broke, pathetic piece of shit bastard that should have been swallowed by his fucking mother, okay? I pray for Journey every day that she will be better than Sharita Hudson and that piece of shit, Kelvin Hunter. Okay, we gotta pray for Kelvin Jr. because that's the piece of shit dad that he has. Okay, so listen. Moving on. Now, Fat Joe is facing a $20 million lawsuit from his former hype man, Terrence T.A. Dixon, who accuses the Bronx rapper of years of exploitation, abuse and psychological manipulation. Filed in court this week, the explosive lawsuit alleges that Joe, real name Joseph Karinga, subjected Dixon to coercive labor, exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion over 16 years. Dixon says that as well as being a hype man, he contributed lyrics and background vocals to songs like Congratulations, Ice Cream, Money Over Itches, yet he was never credited or paid fairly. The complaint also claims Dixon was forced into humiliating situations, including thousands of coerced sex acts under threat of being abandoned in foreign countries. Dixon said that he personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York, who, in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, will perform fellatio and other sexual acts on the rapper. Dixon alleges that minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female and not a U.S. citizen, and that the rapper began having sexual relations with minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old. After a concert overseas, defendant flew minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions due to minor Doe's 2 body being adolescent, not fully formed. Defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. And then there is Fat Joe, Jay-Z, and conveniently Diddy right there. Yes, indeed, there. Minor Doe 3 is reportedly a Latina female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. Dixon shockingly claims that Fat Joe was in love with minor Doe 3, even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his wife. In a recorded conversation, minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for the defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. Dixon argues that while Fat Joe rose to fame with hits like What's Love, his own creative work was suppressed onto the race. He is seeking $20 million in damages. Now, before we get started with this, right, because I do have the lawsuit. I don't know about this. right? You know, Kanye West, guilty as fuck, right? P. Diddy, guilty as fuck. Fat Joe, from what I have known, right, of him in the culture, he has always seemed like a jovial, very well put together and very sensible man, right? Because it's just like I don't think that Fat Joe would have the energy. I don't think he would ever move in this fashion, and certainly why now, right? Because in this lawsuit that we won, this article from Me Takeout that we just heard, you want to get paid $20 million for you not being credited and this, that, and the third. Did you even communicate with Fat Joe, right? Because this one really came out of nowhere. Even Tyler Perry came out of nowhere. But let me tell you something. After seeing that Boondocks episode, something in the Kool-Aid this week there, right? I mean, come on now. Because you remember Christian Keys, right? And what he potentially said about, you know, Tyler Perry. So just want to put that out there. Now, of course, all these cases have to be adjudicated in the court of law. So innocent until proven guilty, right? So just wanted to just bring that into the timeline here. Now, once again, I went to Twitter, typed in Fat Joe lawsuit PDF. I'm showing you how I did what I did. Then I scrolled all the way down, and Document Tings had it here. So shout out to Document Tings once again on Twitter, and I think Document Tings is also on YouTube. So here we go. Here I have the lawsuit right here. It is a lot. Okay, it's 157 pages. I'm not going to read all 157 of them. Okay, I'm just going to read the parts where we need to know. Okay, so good damn. Joseph Antonio Carrera, aka Fat Joe, Peter Pistol Pete Torres, Richard Rich Player, Joseph, Erica Julia Marina, Sneaker Addict, Torrent LLC, Slate LLC, Rock Nation LLC, John Doe's 1 through 10, and Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporation's 1 through 10. Okay. Trigger warning: this document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. Additionally, there are graphic details of sex trafficking and other criminal activity orchestrated by defendants. Okay. So, basically, plaintiff Terrence Dixon, aka TA, and by through his undersigned counsel, TA Blackburn Law PLLC, brings a civil action against defendants Joseph Antonio Carrera, also known professionally known as Fat Joe, Pete Pistol, Pete Torres, Richard Rich Player, Joseph Torrey, Erica Julian Molina, Sneaker Addict, Torrent LLC, Slate LLC, Rock Nation LLC, and John Doe's 1 through 10, Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporations 1 through 10, asserting civil claims for violations of sex of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA 18 USC 1589, 1591, and 1595. The Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, or Civil RICO 18, 1962, and related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum merge, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. This action arises from a deliberate and sustained campaign of exploitation wherein an internationally recognized entertainment manipulates and abuses a creative partner through an organized network of enforcers, associates, and shell companies. Defendants systematically engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, psychological coercion against plaintiff Dixon, and all intended to enrich defendant Karenga and his associates while deliberately suppressing, silencing, and erasing plaintiff's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to defendant Karenga's professional success and brand. Okay. So let's see. Can we? Good Lord Jesus, they are not playing here. Wow. As you can see, it just keeps going. So I'm going to read the parts that I believe you guys need to know, okay? This is 157 pages. We will be here for hours and hours and hours, okay? For more than 16 years, plaintiff Terrence Dixon, aka TA, dedicated his talent, labor, and loyalty to defendant Joseph Karenga, professionally known as Fat Joe. During that period, plaintiff not only acted as Karenga's hype man, but also contributed as lyricist, background vocalist, security team member, and creative collaborator. Despite plaintiff's integral contributions, defendant Karenga systematically excluded him for fair compensation, proper attribution, and substantial royalties and profits generated from his creative labor. Instead, plaintiff was consistently underpaid, denied songwriting credits, and delivery concealed from royalties and back-end compensation. Defendant Karenga's exploitation extended beyond financial fraud. He employed his industry influence and power dynamics to subject plaintiff to psychological coercion, economic control, forcing plaintiff into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance. Lord Jesus, sorry, good Lord Jesus. Humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if plaintiff refused compliance. Defendant Karenga deliberately withheld travel accommodations, misappropriated per diem payments, and exploited plaintiff's financial dependence and professional loyalty to ensure submission, silence, and domination. Torres and Joseph Tier actively engaged in physical threats, violent assaults, and intimidation tactics on Karenga's explicit instructions, sustaining a climate of fear and coercion against the plaintiff and others who challenged the enterprise's control. Slate Incorporated operate as the central financial conduit, systematically concealing illicit proceeds. At the same time, Sneaker Ad Touring LLC fraudulently secured federal paycheck program PPP loans by falsifying business activities and diverting federal funds into the enterprise. Right. Defendant Erica Juliana Morena further facilitated Karenga's fraudulent schemes through unauthorized legal representation, fraudulent corporate filings, and the creation of deceptive corporate structures, and diversion of proceeds owed to plaintiff, and the laundering of illicit funds. Corporate defendant Slate Incorporated, Sneaker Added Touring LLC served as instrumental vehicles for the enterprise's sophisticated financial fraud and money laundering schemes. Defendant Rock Nation, the current management representative entity for defendant Karenga, knowingly participate in concealing, transferring, manipulating plaintiffs' authorship rights, royalty interests. Rock Nation deliberately facilitate Karenga's unlawful act by filing a marriage lawsuit against plaintiff and his counsel to intimidate, harass, and obstruct plaintiffs' legitimate claims against Karenga and co-defendants. Rock Nation, through its CEO Desiree Perez, which Desiree Perez had her own lawsuit filed by her daughter. We did not get into that lawsuit, but it was very, very, very heavy. A lot of mental health in that lawsuit. Extracted 10% of all revenue generated by defendant Karenga and his associated businesses, including through joint management of business records, oversight of touring venue, enforcement of policies plaintiff was required to follow during his work with defendant. As an aside, according to account Doe and former manager Doe, defendant Karenga stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from Rock Nation, their CEO, Desiree Perez, where he accepted cash payments up to $500,000 for performances. He secured independent Rock Nation upon information and belief defendant Karenga's actions went against his agreement with Ms. Perez. Defendant Karenga, alongside Torres, Joseph Tier, Morena, Slate Incorporated, Sneaker Ad Touring LLC, and Rock Nation, created and sustained a deliberate exploitative arrangement in which plaintiff was systematically denied proper compensation, authorship recognition, and unlawful recourse. For over 16 years, defendants collectively enriched themselves through plaintiffs' uncompensated labor, creativity, professional contributions, generating substantial royalties, performance fees, and brand equity, from which plaintiff received virtually no benefit. Additionally, defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes by submitting intentionally inflated and fraudulent income reports to the IRS, to the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, significantly overstaying the actual compensation plaintiff received. This deliberate misrepresentation of plaintiff's income was designed to conceal defendants' extensive wage theft, artificially inflate plaintiff's tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the financial realities underlying plaintiff's exploitative labor. Defendant Karenga's criminal and fraudulent conduct is not speculative. It has been corroborated with first-hand witnesses, recorded phone calls, and documented evidence in possession of accountant Doe, who personally handled the financial affairs of Karenga, confirmed that, number one, plaintiff was excluded from former payment systems. Number two, W-2s were falsely inflated, reports to the IRS to create a fictitious paper trail. Number three, defendant Karenga personally collected $600,000 and $200,000 in cash at different times from the Up NYC retail stores. Rock Nation received 10% of all revenue from Karenga's businesses. And number five, numerous financial records were fabricated or withheld to avoid paying plaintiff the royalties and compensation he was owed, further confirming the illicit nature of defendants Karenga's operation. Employees at Up NYC, a small sneaker and apparel store, routinely flaunted luxury goods, G-Wagons, Range Rovers, Rolexes, design clothing, despite earning little more than New York minimum wage. This conspicuous consumption rather combined with large volumes of cash-on transactions and the complete absence of legitimate documentation reflects the store's role as a laundering front for the Karenga enterprise. So, from what it's sounding like in the opening of this lawsuit, like I said, it's 157 pages. I'm not going to go through all of them, okay? 48 was a lot. 25 was enough. 157, you tried it way too hard. But I want to go to Up NYC because I think that was mentioned. That was mentioned on the Drew Barrymore show because Fat Joe was a part of an episode of Drew Barrymore show. So I'm going to go to upnycstore.com, right? Because I just want to see something. Okay. So here's the website right here, right? This is upstorenyc.com. This is Fat Joe's website, right? So I'm going to click new arrivals. So $170 there for Up NYC sticky white trucker hat. $170. Nike Air foam posit, $240. Billionaire Boys Club BBC helmet SS t-shirt for $70, right? So a couple of new things. Now, why does this say this here, right? So this is Amazon. That's, hang on, let me see. Can I zoom in any closer? Okay. So that's Amazon. That's American Express. That's Apple Pay. That's Diners Club, which has been around since forever. That's Discover Card, which just bought Capital One. They are one now. That's Google Pay. That's MasterCard. That's Shop Pay or Clara. And then this is Visa. The only thing that's not on here is Samsung Pay. So if we go back to the lawsuit, right? Let's go back to the lawsuit for a minute. This conspicuous consumption combined with large volumes of cash-only transactions and the complete absence of legitimate revenue documentation reflects the store's role as a laundering front for the Karenga enterprise. So if that was the case, that it was only large volumes of cash-only transactions, then why in the flying hell does Fat Joe and his company have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different ways for you to pay on upnycstore.com? Okay, so just listen. Defendant Karenga earns estimated $60,000 a month per month in royalties and at least $20,000 monthly in streaming revenue, none of which has ever been shared with plaintiff despite his significant authorship and performance contributions to the monetized songs. In one documented instance, defendant Karenga pocketed a $30,000 Live Nation performance check for the On the Way Up tour money that was rightfully allocated to the plaintiff's contributions. Karenga used those funds to pay off his bad taxes owed to the IRS, as confirmed by a witness who was a part of his management team at the time. right here. Plaintiff was not only exploited financially, but also subjected to a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionism, and surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex acts under observation, being filmed or directed by a defendant in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, ensure silence. These sex-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation, enforced by the defendant's associates such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, Wisconsin. In Miami, on Market America's corporate yacht and its mansion properties, the defendant orchestrated repeated orgies, creation of fraudulent pay stubs, the use of W-2s while filing 1099s, and the concealment of payroll fraud for enterprise gain or textbook RICO predicate acts under mail/wire fraud and tax fraud statutes. The scheme furthers the enterprise's coercive structure as directly tied to financial exploitation. Plaintiff female dancers and minors. Defendant uses status as a corporate sponsor, celebrity influence, financial control to compel plaintiff and others into degrading sexual performances, often while defendant watched, recorded, and or directed the encounters. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendant's management entourage, yet no intervention occurred, supporting the interference that these acts were facilitated, covered up by the broader enterprise and affiliates. Defendant also used social media burner accounts, including Big Good and Dr. Zavag, to issue veiled death threats and witness intimidation, such as "You love your family, right? Fall back in 48 hours, we let you live." These statements were interrupted by plaintiff and his legal team as a part of a broader scheme to intimidate, silence, and obstruct plaintiff's participation in this case. These acts constitute violations of 18 U.S.C. 1512 witness tampering and 18 U.S.C. 875D interstate threats, fall square within the pattern of violent racketeering activity under the Civil Legal Statute. Retaliation for asserting his rights. Rock Nation and defendant Karenga jointly filed a baseless lawsuit against plaintiff and his counsel. The complaint, riddled with procedural defects and legal inaccuracies, was filed for the sole purpose of intimidating the plaintiff, deriving judicial resources, and chilling his First Amendment right to seek redress. Retaliatory lawsuit was intended not to prevail on legal merit, but to create public confusion burdened by plaintiff's counsel with discovery costs. This way, other victims' whistleblowers were coming forward with evidence of defendant's enterprise activity. As a part of a coordinated cover of defendant's men, ghost contracts and backdated split sheets to perform rights organizations pros, including BMI, ASCAP, on man plaintiffs' officership credit. So BMI and ASCAP, those are two organizations that they keep track of the royalties in the industry. So whenever you hear, for example, where is it?
Power 923 Jams and the Arkansas Minority Health Commission encourages you to take the COVID-19 vaccine to help keep you and your loved ones safe. Involved in our community, the People Station, Power 923 Jams, KIPR Pine Bluff, Little Rock, KFOG Little Rock, a Cumulus Media Station. And now, back to the jams. Hip-hop. Drake.
Girls want girls where I'm from. Yeah, well, girls want girls where
R&B. J. Howell.
Just 'cause I love you and you love me.
And now, bumping back-to-back continuous music with another fresh new jam. Heard here first on the People Station, Power 923 Jams. Power 923 Jams.
So when you hear that, that is the station ID that's at the top of every hour and at the bottom of every hour. So usually on Power 92 Jams, you'll hear 92 minutes of continuous music. For every track that they play on Power 92 Jams or any station, right, they have to send those songs, the music log, to BMI ASCAP. That is how the artists get their royalties. So anytime you hear someone saying that radio is dead, Radio is a part of the music industry. Without radio spins, where do artists get paid? Streaming? Because Snoop Dogg said he got like 1 billion streams on Spotify, and he didn't get the check that he felt like he deserved. So, yeah. I don't know. So, there we go. What the hell? Amend plaintiff's authorship credits. These records were created after the commercial release of the music and falsely aligned 100% publishing rights to the defendant and his business entities. The fraudulent documents were designed to mislead royalty agencies and divert back-end payments and erase plaintiff from the creative history of the works, even though plaintiff's vocals and lyrical contributions rarely identifiable on the tracks. These actions not only derive plaintiff of at least $600,000 in projected royalties, but also ensured his exclusion for future licensing, catalog evaluation, and digital revenue derived from streaming platforms. Right here, the enterprise's financial arm further engaged in systematic laundering and tax evasion, as evidenced by repeated cash disbursement of over $200,000 to $600,000 at the time, withdrawn from Up NYC with no documented alleged report mechanism for tax compliance. Defendant Carran's post-conviction tax conduct included repeated failure to report foreign earnings, the use of nominee entities, and cash-based laundry to corporate funds reflecting the sophistication and the scope of enterprise's consumer strategies. So, like I said, from what this is sounding like more about money, right, than about the sexual acts, right? Because here's my thing: if you're going to sue for SA, wouldn't the lawsuit be all about SA? Just saying. Now, of course, you're saying of who Fat Joe is and the entities that are aligned with him, but it just seems like you didn't get paid, right? So I am coming at this from a very, media point of view, as we often do around here. But sincerely, it's looking like this dude just didn't get paid. During the relevant period, defendants conducted extensive commercial artistic operations in the Southern District of New York, including but not limited to entering performance contracts, maintaining recording studios and corporate offices, receiving royalty and licensing income, orchestrating financial tax fraud schemes, and directing and facilitating the exportation and suppression of plaintiffs' intellectual property rights or IP rights, financial interests, and personal autonomy. Okay. So here it is here. Terrence Dixon worked from 2005 through 2020. Plaintiff closely worked with defendant in multiple capacities, including but not limited to hype man and on-stage performer, songwriter, co-author of numerous commercially released tracks. Number 3, background vocalist and creative contributor in studio productions, and tour security and logistical liaison for domestic and international events. Okay, that's the address there. So y'all see I'm not doxing Fat Joe, okay? So just want that to be known. This is a public document, okay? As you can see here, Defendant Karanga has released multiple albums under labels such as Atlantic Records, Terror Squad Entertainment, E1 Music. During his time working with the defendant, plaintiff, author, co-author dozens of songs, including Congratulations, Money Over Itches, Ice Cream, Cupcake, Blackout, Ray Diana, Orange Star, Okay, Music, Ha Ha, How Did We Get Here, No Problems, I Chopped It All the Way Up, 300 Brawler, Crack House, All I Do Is Remix First, Red Cafe Remix, Winding on Me, Coke Up Baby, and Get for Life. Pete Pistol Torres is an individual believed to reside in Bronx, New York, and Miami, Florida. Torres serves as defendant Karanga's primary enforcer, street-level operations captain, responsible for executing violent directives, enforcing internal discipline, maintaining or within the Karanga enterprise for fear, intimidation, and physical assault. Right here, corroborated by audio which documents his effort to orchestrate an ambush against plaintiff using his coded enterprise language such as pound him out and capture to issue violent orders on defendant Karanga's behalf. Richard Player, Joseph Tier, the individual believed to reside in New York and Miami, Florida. Josephine acts as defendant Karenga's business manager, head of enforcement operations, coordinating threats, acts of violence, financial restructuring, retaliation against entrepreneurial enterprise opponents, including plaintiff Erica. Julia Moringa is an individual who, upon information and belief, resides in the state of Florida. Moringa illegally represented herself as a legal agent counsel despite lacking proper authorization to practice law in Florida. So here she is here. She participated in creating and managing fraudulent corporate entities to conceal and launder proceeds of the enterprise's legal activities. Sneaker Addict Touring LLC is a Florida limited liability company owned, operate, or controlled by defendant Karenga, utilized by the Karenga Enterprise as a vehicle for fraudulent activities. They allegedly fraudulently attained Paycheck Protection Program (PPP) loan under false pretenses, represent non-existent or inflated business activities to misappropriate federal funds. Slate Inc. is a Florida-based corporate entity serving as a financial conduit of the Karenga Enterprise. Rock Nation is, of course, Jay-Z's company here. Plaintiff alleges Rock Nation received at least 10% of all income earned by defendant Karenga and its companies. Number 2, appointed a director who supervised plaintiff. Number 3, act as a joint employer by exercising control of plaintiff's labor and reporting structure. Number 4, aided and abetted the diversion of plaintiff's royalties, concealment, authorship, and retaliation against the plaintiff as counsel for the baseless lawsuit. Defendants John Doe's 1 through 10, Jane Doe 1 through 10 are natural persons whose identities are currently unknown to plaintiff, but are believed to aided, abetted, participated in, or benefit the unlawful acts described herein. Okay. So like I said, it's 107 pages, so I'm giving you what you need to know, right? I'm getting to the allegations of sexual assault, right? In addition to federal claims under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA are likewise subject to tolling, considering defendants' coercive and manipulative conduct, which included verbal intimidation, threats of abandonment, and a chronic pattern of exploitation that destroyed plaintiff's sense of agency and impede timely recourse. So like I said, it is a lot here. But as you can see here, like he's getting into, co-wrote lyrics, structured hooks, recorded background vocals, and released tracks performed at more than 200 live stage shows, served as a primary crowd energizer. On stage counterpart to defendant, managed travel logistics, including equipment, transport, personal security, and emergency arrangements. Acted as defendant's bodyguard handler during domestic and international tours, contribute to branding strategies, music concepts, and studio ideation from critical to album development. So just gonna keep strong because there's a lot of business here. Just a lot of business. Not saying it doesn't matter, but we're here for the SA lawsuit, right? Okay, let's see here. Through these sustained and credible acts, defendant intentionally reinforced the message plaintiff had no viable path to safely exit their working relationship or demand rightful compensation without facing devastating personal consequences. Defendant methodically cultivated an atmosphere where fear of violent retaliation, abandonment abroad, and personal and career destruction permeated plaintiff's daily experience, effectively destroying any notion of autonomy or genuine choice. Plaintiff's working conditions were oppressive and unpredictable, deliberately designed to amplify his vulnerability and dependency. The defendant employed persistent verbal abuse, acts of physical violence, erratic and insufficient payment, manipulative control of travel and accommodations, continuous simulation. Collectively, these coercive tactics resulted in chronic emotional, psychological distress, profound anxiety, and severe trauma that continue to affect the plaintiff to this day. Suffer emotional injuries, including chronic anxiety, debilitating fear, symptoms consistent with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, loss of self-esteem, lasting damage to mental and emotional well-being. Okay, here. Throughout plaintiff's 16-year period working closely with defendant, plaintiff was routinely coerced and engaging sexual acts with women, specifically brought by defendant Karinga to hotel rooms, private gatherings, from performances, studio events. Defendant Karinga frequently arranged, orchestrated these accounts, intentionally created scenarios to reinforce plaintiff's complete submission. Defendant Karinga regularly monitored these encounters closely, frequently remaining in the room to watch, record, or provide explicit direction and commands. On at least one occasion, plaintiff explicitly resisted participating in a coerced sexual encounter arranged by defendant. Defendant immediately retaliated by canceling plaintiff's scheduled flight home, deliberately stranding plaintiff without money, shelter, or support, thereby intentionally placing him in an isolated, unsafe, and highly vulnerable position abroad. So, right here, plaintiff estimates that over 16 years he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. Psychological toll was immense. The plaintiff developed symptoms consistent with PTSD, including flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, panic attack, emotional attachment. He remains in trauma-informed therapy, continues to experience deliberate anxiety. So this is before the slashing, because this is how TA looked before and then after the slashing. So I'm guessing. All right, here the defendant repeatedly referenced what happened to the former terror squad RSQ Belink, who was physically assaulted and slashed across the face, leaving him with permanent nerve damage and visible scars. So this is before it. This is after. I'm trying to see where this slashing is, right? Like, it seems like this guy's face just got older, and I'm not seeing the slashing. So just want to say that. Defendant Karinga routinely orchestrated sexually coercive scenarios in which plaintiff was compelled to engage sexual acts with women, brought to hotel rooms with following live performances, touring events, or private studio sessions. On one occasion in Miami, after a concert, defendant brought a woman back to his hotel, then ordered the plaintiffs to sleep with her in front of the group, insisting the bathroom door stay open. Shout, "Get your dick hard, TA." Members of the enterprise, including JB and Pistol Pete Torres, stood in the room watching and laughing. One individual remarked, "Yo, Joe, I'm not about to stand there and watch this end's dick." Rock Nation was assumed management of the defendant's affairs in 2017 either knew or should have known these repeated high-profile incidents. The events took place at Brandon Bing's involved staff under Rock Nation supervision and were discussed openly in the touring circles. So there were phrases and terms that functioned as internal codes to direct violence, sexual coercion, intimidation, or other illicit conduct. This include the darn Fat Joe, Fat Guy, the Don Fat Joe, Monarchist, targeted females referred to as itches, pay ops, coerce or violent sexual acts, calapi to physically assault or slap, cooling, rectum, or garbage portal, ketchup, abbing or slashing, Madoin, kill them or him theory, baby mother, wife, girlfriend, incorporate plate to place victim casket. So that was some of the language there. So now we're getting into the part of the lawsuit that this gets into what? This is page 20. If you're following along, trying to figure out where it starts here. It starts on page 25 right here. So Minor Doe 1 is a 16-year-old Dominican girl residing in New York. In exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, defendant would get fellatio or other sex acts performed on him by Minor Doe 1. On one occasion while driving in New York City, Minor Doe 1 asked the defendant for money to pay for a cell phone being notoriously cheap. The defendant claimed to be broke. This upset minor Doe 1, who began yelling, cursing, and screaming. Plaintiff begged defendant to pay the minor's child phone bill, which was less than $100. Minor Doe 2. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female. She is not a U.S. citizen. The defendant began having sexual relations with minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. The defendant flew minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to minor 2's body being adolescent, not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left defendant and now is married to a professional athlete. This is minor Doe 3. Her face is covered up here. I think that's minor Doe 3. And minor Doe 3 with her friends here. Minor Doe 3 with her friends from high school. Same time she was being trafficked by the defendant. Minor Doe 3 is a Latino female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16 according to plaintiff. Defendant was in love with minor Doe 3, even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid for minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida, would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife. In a recorded conversation, minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for a defendant who was in his late 30s at the time to be fawning over children. Let's see here. So it says, rather than conceal his actions, he has on multiple occasions alluded to or openly referenced sexual and inappropriate conduct in his public persona and artistic output. In the song titled She's My Mama, the defendant delivers lyrics when considered in context, reflects an unhealthy, troubled fixation on underage individuals. The content of the song is explicitly suggested, disturbingly detailed. Defendant uses it to normalize, romanticize, or even boast about behavior that aligns with patterns of coercion and exploitation described throughout this complaint. Let's look up She's My Mama. Let's just look it up, because if you're saying that's true, then let's look up the lyrics. Okay. Let's see here. Here we go. She's My Mom. This came out in 2006. Verse 1. You know one man's treasure is another man's cash. Speak on it. Listen, the man that sleeps on the floor can't fall the bed. Pop your collar. It's Gorilla's mania. You heard me. She's my mommy. She's my baby. I love you so much. You drive me crazy. Want to be down? Jump in the car, roll with me. I'll make you a star. Now that she was only 16, I had to nurture that, give her some growth. Wait until I touch that cat. Child, what the hell? Okay. Now, like I said, I listen to R&B most of the time. LL Cool J, Queen Latifah, Cardi, Megan, you know what I mean? Run DMC. But child, let's keep reading these lyrics, child. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to read those lyrics 2 more times. Now that she was only 16, I had to nurture that, give her some growth, wait until I touch the cat. Now that she was 16, I had to nurture that, give her some growth, wait until I touch the cat. The fact that was even wrote down and performed and was played on radio is crazy. She gonna have to work until she gonna get ahead. Then she drove berserk when she gave me some. I think that was head, if I'm not mistaken. She told me that she learned that from the Orno flicks. I said, Mommy, stop talking. Just suck on this cream stick. I ain't said her name yet, so let's just say she's nothing. Now watch me turn this nothing into something good. Mommy, get in that kitchen. This is free base. Just cook until it's hard to cut at 8s. So here's the thing. There's this show called Breaking Bad where they talk about cooking and what was it? Oh my God, Walter White had a nickname, and he would say, "Say my name." And then after that name was said, he would say, "You goddamn right." So apparently that was cooking crack. The words of Auntie Whitney Houston, crack is whack. Just take the trip cross down to see you. Just get the money. Don't listen to that ish thing. Cute. See all this money we got. We going shopping Louis Vuitton, Gucci. We get Papa Weeks, hit the club, and on some Slinko ish. See the respect that you get from just being my itch. I'm guessing. Look at them. They sick. They want to be in your shoes. That's the game I hit her with. To leave her confused. I'm just using her for paper. She want a man, but about to see other itches, but she understands. She's my mommy. She's my baby. I love you so much. You drive me crazy. Want to be down? Jump in the car, roll with me. I'll make you a star. She's my mommy. She's my baby. I love you so much. You drive me crazy. Want to be down? Jump in the car, roll with me. I'll make you a star. I met her at Rucker Park watching the Stars play. I knew she was a terror. She was watching the squad play. I knew she had her own. She was pushing the bubble X, the type of eye candy that you see in double X. Fat ass, I'm guessing. Long hair, short like Nia Long. I knew she was a victim from the start. My G is strong. Then she said, I ain't felt this good in 10 summers. I'm guessing that's from sex. Gave me credit cards and debit cards and PIN numbers. I'm looking at receipts. She spent G's on the kid. I need to bag up, brought G's to the crib. I got not what she did, put the deed, pushing her V. I ain't got keys to the crib. I need to bag up. I brought G's to the crib. I got not what she did, put up the deed to the crib, but now she's got a new gig at Chase Manhattan. Look, my is with my let's make it happen. So I bust through the door, about to get a cord to 4, and told every nosy hoe get the fuck on the floor. Then she opened up the bag, started to fill them all, making sure that she left the marked money in the drawer. Told security, if you move, this is gonna be your last night. I'm working Mac 10, you working with a flashlight. I'm walking backwards, nobody move. Word to mother, trying not to look because I don't want to blow her cover. That's when this ish winks and lose a kiss. That's what this itch wings blue kiss at me. I don't believe this itch took all the risk for me. That's why I love you so much. That's why she's my mama. She's my baby. I love you so much. You drive me crazy. Want to be down, jump in the car, roll with me. I'll make you a star. She's my mommy. She's my baby. I love you so much. You drive me crazy. You want to be down, jump in the car, roll with me. I'll make you a star. We're on some BS right now. Young murder, capital, corrupt made, BX Coca, street realm. This one catch suckers crack. Wow. Okay, that was a lot. I think the main part of this song that really gets me crazy was these things here. This part right here. Right here. Now that she was only 16, I had to nurture that, give her some growth. Wait until I touched the cat. She told me she was going to have to work until she gone ahead. Then she told me berserk when she gave me some head. She told me that she learned that from the Orno flicks. I said, Mom, stop talking. Just suck on this cream stick. I ain't saying her name yet, so let's say she's nothing. Now watch me turn. It's nothing into something. Get it? I think that part right there got to me. So what we're going to do for a minute, I'm going to take a little break. We'll be back with more. We got more of the lawsuit, child. We'll be here for a good minute. We'll be back. Wrap this. We're live on tour. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back right after this. Roll it.
Beyond this gate, find gardens green and epic worlds to fill your dreams.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward,
with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
In Disney's 102-year history, there have been many defining moments and countless achievements. Today, we celebrate another thrilling moment, the creation of a spectacular new Disney theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi is a place where heritage meets innovation, a place where we preserve our past while designing the future.
Bringing a Disney theme park resort to Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, marks a historic milestone in our journey as a global family destination.
The 7th Disney theme park resort destination represents a new frontier in theme park ambitions. Our resort in Abu Dhabi will be the most advanced and interactive destination in our entire portfolio. The location of our park is incredibly unique. It's anchored by a beautiful waterfront, which will allow us to tell our stories in completely new ways. Ultimately, this project will be a celebration of what's possible when creativity and progress come together.
What we are creating with Disney in Abu Dhabi is a whole new world of imagination, an experience that will inspire generations across the region and the world.
This collaboration represents a powerful fusion of Disney's unmatched legacy in storytelling and Mira's commitment to bringing world-class entertainment to our guests.
Abu Dhabi's vision for the future is to create a legacy for generations to come.
Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be authentically Disney and distinctly Emirati. An oasis of extraordinary Disney entertainment at this crossroads of the world. It will bring to life our timeless characters and stories in many new ways, becoming a source of joy and inspiration for the people of this vast region to enjoy for generations to come.
On the Never Ever Mets reunion, we'll find out if the couples who lasted are still going strong and if the others are looking for closure.
There was a lot of secrets in this house. Clay, is that sweat on your brow?
Wow. That's the gaslighting part. That is gaslighting.
Mind your business.
He slapped me in the ass so hard, my teeth clicked together.
You didn't say, oh, I like that, that feel good?
You are a soul that I would love to keep in my life.
When we start a project, we always start with story. That story is key. So we began with the story of the Waturi people. The myth of the Waturi people is that long ago, they set out on their outrigger canoes looking for a new home. There was a legend that said they could only find this new home with the help of this mini golden-finned fish called Kanuku. And they searched across Pacifica and Polynesia, and they visited all these islands. They went to Bali and Tahiti and went as far as Rapa Nui, Easter Island. Along the way, they made friends, collected sort of the culture, and they sailed on and on and on, and they almost to the edge of the world. There, to their amazement, was Kanuku. And she turned to the people and said, "You are ready." Turned and swam away. They followed, and within a day, they caught sight of this smoking mountain on the horizon, which was Volcano Bay. And it was pristine, beautiful, lush, everything that they would want in a home. And that's the backstory that informs everything we do in our design. The idea here is to create the best experience. We know what our guests want. They want the thrill and excitement of our theme parks, but they also want a place where they can relax and chill out and feel pampered. Nobody wants to stand in line. And so we said, let's get rid of them. Nobody wants to carry rafts up a ride tower all the way to the top. So we said, let's do that for you. Exhilaration and excitement and relaxation. That's what you're gonna get at Volcano Bay.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving you right back. Welcome back into Braylon's Virtual Tour Live. We are live on tour talking about Oh Lord, this Fat Joe lawsuit, everybody. This Fat Joe lawsuit is 157 pages. I'm just giving you the synopsis of this right here, right? Child, listen. Based on the information and belief, She's My Mama was written about Doe 3, who confirms engaging many of the acts outlined in the lyrics above. Furthermore, minor Doe 3 was required to hold jewelry, drugs, and other questionable items that are illegal to be in child's possession when she traveled with the defendant. Defendant's transportation of and sexual intercourse with these minors constitute violations of New York, Florida, and federal laws. New York sex trafficking as defined in paragraphs A and B of subdivision 5, section 230.34, sex trafficking of a child as defined in section 230.34, rape in the third degree as defined by penal law 130.25, Florida unlawful sexual activity concerning minors, Florida statute 794.05, federal Manning Act 18 USC 2421 SEC section 2423 as amended in the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. Defendant Joe covers up Andre Dre, Christopher Lyon, and Cool Dre statutory rape with K-Rose. So this is not Christopher Lyon from To the Empire Lyon. Okay, so that's a fictional family, but there is a person named Lyon. Okay, so just want to say that. K-Rose was a 15-year-old singer signed to Epidemic Records, a label owned by Andre Dre, Christopher Lyon. From the beginning of the relationship, Dre began grooming K-Rose and started having sexual encounters with the child in studio after her parents dropped her off to record. So I've never heard of K-Rose. So let me see what she looks like here, because we always try to make sure that we give context, conjecture, and connection over here. I think this might be K-Rose here. Let's see. So I think this might be K-Rose. Here, this might be K-Rose, San Jose music artist. Beautiful. She is stunning Latina, I can tell you that. So yes, indeed, there. So beautifully curated Instagram, for sure. San Jose music artist, Latina mother, hustler, rebrand music video app, hashtag Rip India. Here's her link tree, Cassandra Rose. So I think that is her there. The statutory rape of K-Rose lasted close to a year. According to plaintiff, one night, he and defendant walked into the studio and Dre was screaming, "I'm going to jail, Joe, I'm going to jail." K-Rose parents found out I was dealing with K-Rose. According to plaintiff, K-Rose parents threatened to lock Dre up. The defendant said, "Calm down, I'm going to take care of it." Based on information and belief, the defendant used Burner's phone to send K-Rose parents a message. K-Rose career fizzled out and she was rarely heard from again. So let me see. Oh no, that's not. Okay, so this is K-Rose. So my bad. So that last person, that was not K-Rose. This is K-Rose here. Hang on. Let me bring her up. So sorry to that person. Did not mean to listen when you're looking up stuff. Okay, that's the first person that came up. But this is search. Why is she limited? I wonder. Okay, here it is here. So this is K-Rose right here. So this is K-Rose right here. Okay. Like I said, I'm sorry to the person. for sure. So, always honor when we mess up, right? That tends to happen when we're live, okay? So, like I said, I've never heard K Rose before until now. So, this is K Rose here. Like I said, I've never heard K Rose until tonight, so please forgive me. Like I said, I am sorry. And mistakes happen. You know what I mean? So we don't do that on purpose. And I probably should have put Epidemic Records first before, looking her up. So I just want to say that there, okay? All right. Yes, indeed, there. So let's see. So coordinated retaliation attempts against Enterprise members Pistol Pete and Rich Player. Following plaintiffs' efforts to disclose the coercive, fraudulent, abusive operations of Defender Karenga and the criminal enterprise he leads, senior members of the Karenga Enterprise launched a calculated and premeditated campaign of retaliation designed to intimidate, isolate, silence plaintiffs. Their actions were driven by fear that plaintiffs' disclosure would expose them to legal liability, public condemnation, and criminal prosecution. Let's see here. The objective, let me go back. Defendants Pete Pistol, Pete Torres, and Richard Rich Player, Joseph Terry, the two of defendant Karenga's most trusted enforcers, contacted Percy with the explicit goal of leveraging his relationship with plaintiff to facilitate violent setup. Defendant's agents saw Percy as a potential conduit to lure plaintiff into a confrontation under false pretenses. The objective of the setup was clear: to deliver a violent reprisal, either a brutal physical assault or potential deletion. The motive was equally clear: to punish plaintiff for speaking out and to deter any further revelations that could damage defender Karenga or implicate the enterprise of criminal wrongdoing. In a recorded conversation, defendant Torres especially invoked loyalty to defender Karenga, characterized the plaintiff's truth-telling as an unforgivable betrayal. Torres stated, unquote, for that plaintiff needs to get dealt with and urged Percy to arrange an in-person meeting under false pretenses. The plan of violence was framed not as a personal dispute, but as a necessary act of internal discipline and enterprise protection. Pistol P, I called you to try to get his number unintelligible. 2 seconds later, Percy, all right, I called him and he don't want you to have his number because you say you ain't been calling him. What for? Pistol Pete says, no, that's fine. He's right as long as he keeps himself away. He don't come around the hood because he can't come from the hood. It's all good. My loyalty's to Joe. My thing is cross-talk. If you violate Joe, you fuck with Joe. I would expect and think the person's loyalty is to Joe, according to Joe. Person, my loyalty don't gotta be questioned here. Never, not one time you went on the internet and violated Joe. Nobody pounded you out. What are you talking about, Pistol Pete? Nobody ever violated Joe. What are you talking about, Percy? Yes, you did. You went on the internet and violated Joe. You violated Khaled. Now, I don't know if that's DJ Khaled, but I think that might be DJ Khaled. Or the black singer Khaled. You forgot. Did you forget? Khaled, yes, but I never violated Joe. Pistol Pete. Percy says you violated Joe 2. You violated Joe 2. Bro, you violated Joe 2. Pistol Pete, it was Khaled that I talked about. Percy, don't do that. It was Khaled. I could do whatever I want. Percy says, no, I'm telling you could do that with them, bro, but don't talk to Ish like that. Pistol Pete, no, I'm just telling you because I'm expecting your loyalty to be toward crosstalk. Percy, my loyalty is not in question here, bro. Pistol Pete, Purse, listen, I'm only talking to you, Purse, because Joe was like, yo, nah, it's crazy. Purse loyalty is to me, not give a call. I'm just telling you because I respect. This is what I'm saying as a fan base. I'm trying to tell you, yo, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying, Percy? Yes, but you're trying to tell me to line the end up. That don't even make sense. I don't know who thought in their mind that I was going to do that. Pistol Pete. No, I'm just saying, though, listen, if an end violate anybody like that, my ends are going to bring it right to where you're at. I ain't got to lie. My ends are going to bring it right to me. My hood is going to bring it right over here. Why? Like they always done. Why? And get done personally. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Percy, yes, if it was somebody other than TA. Pistol P, unintelligible at 1 minute 53 seconds. I'm going to unintelligible at 1 minute and 54 seconds. Percy, listen to me. If it was somebody other than TA, yes, but TA was a part of the family, bro. Sorry, I got this dry skin in my ear. It is getting on my everlasting nerves, so please forgive me, y'all. Let's see, that ends not. He's going through what he's going through, and listen, maybe he shouldn't the way that he did. I told him, hold on, you gotta listen to me. I told him, hold on, Pistol P. I put the N on. He never gave me $1. Let him fly. Percy, he didn't have $1 to give away. You talking about Pistol P? No, he had plenty, bro. He was getting paid $1,000 when he went overseas, bro. He was lying. Percy said he wasn't getting paid no money when unintelligible. 2 minutes 26 seconds. Pistol P, yes he was, bro. Yes he was. Percy, he wasn't around. I was around. He wasn't around. Pete Pierce, I know. Pierce from Pistol Pete. Piercy, you weren't around. Pete, I was around. He wasn't around. Remember, you wasn't around. He wasn't here. You was in Miami, bro. So don't do that. Pistol Pete, listen, when I'm asking about my money, trust me, a lot of ish came up. Oh no, we're giving that in this amount of money. I used to talk to TA. TA unintelligible got right now. They just gave you this amount of money. He said, yes, but I had to pay this. I had to pay that. I couldn't do it. I'm only getting paid $1,000. It's hard because I have to pay my rent. How could I get you your 20% down? Please, Jeff, give me a break. I was like, all right, TA, I understand that you need it. He was getting paid more than what he said to you all. Piercy's line, he told me, Percy, there's a lot of line going on here, bro. That's why I say out of that ish. That's why I say out of everyone's business. But right is right. He's feeling how it's feeling. Mr. P, yes, but he's wrong. He's not right. He's wrong. Percy, is he wrong for doing how he's doing it? I don't know if he's wrong because he did holler at Joe. Joe curved him. Joe ain't want to hear nothing he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Then now this is his option. This is how he feels he needs to handle it. Is he doing it? Is he right for doing it that way? I don't totally agree with him. I tried to stop him. He wanted to do it this way. I can't do nothing about that. Don't ever tell me to bring it into you. I'm not ever doing that. I'm not ever doing that. Pistol Pete. No, I'm just saying though. Listen, I know I will if an invalid Percy and he around me. What my NU violate? Who? Oh no, get in the car, bro. You're going to deal with Percy right now, buddy. Percy, yes, but I don't give a nigga. Sorry, I'm a real N from the trenches for real. I'm not gonna let him violate my N. Percy says he said that he wanted his money for the music he wrote. I didn't see him say nothing about Joe pay off his inaudible 4 minutes, 14 seconds, and all that. How do you know Pete wasn't there? Pistol Pete, you know how N be the studio person because I have done it. I've been to the studio where I had given that N a line or two. Yo, say this. This is a nice line right here. Percy, Pete, you wasn't there, Pete, so you wasn't there, so you can't talk on what you don't know. Pistol, that was from Percy, rather. Pistol P, a lot of us wasn't there. Percy, I was there. Pistol P, what you was there for? The one-step crosstalk. Percy, I was there every time. Pistol P, out, not for that one time. I was there all the time for the song, bro. It's a long phone call. Percy, Pete, no, you wasn't, bro. You wasn't there. None of y'all was around. Technically, none of y'all was around. From Percy, Pistol Pete, Pierce, but he never wrote the song. Percy, if you want to be technical, none of y'all was around. If you want to be technical, Pistol Pete, you might be right. I'm not trying to. Percy, the only people that was around me, TA, Joe, and March. No one else was around, bro, for years. Pistol Pete, okay, I got you. Must have been at that time, I guess. Percy, for years, so nobody, whatever you're being told, wherever, nobody cares because I know what's going on. Pistol Pete, listen, I've been in the studio 1,000 times with TA and with Joe, and TA never wrote a song. Now, if a N say some sick-ish, a verse where it might say, oh, Coca-Cola matches what's already done. Percy says, yes, that's understandable. Pistol Pete says that's a different story. That's not right in the whole song. You know what I'm saying? Percy says, I was there for a lot of ish, bro. I just don't say nothing because I don't want to get involved in none of that ish. Pistol Pete says, no, I got you, Pierce. I get, though. I get. Listen, I said, I only reached out to you because the way they said, I said, well, that should be easy. If he's around Pierce all the time and Pierce is down with us, then that's a no-brainer. Percy, yes, but I'm not doing that. I will bring him for a conversation, but I don't bring. I'm not ever doing that. I will bring him in for a conversation, but I would never bring him for ends to try to pound him out. I'm never doing that. If Nins wants to catch him and pound him out, they got to do that on their own. I'm never going to line them out like that. Pistol Pete, I got you. Pierce, I got you. No, I got you. Listen, that's something that Piercy, my lord, so you can't be questioned. Pistol Pete, that's something between you and Joe that ain't got nothing to do with me. Percy, don't ever question my loyalty, brother, please. Pistol Pete says, no, my thing to you is that Ish ain't got nothing to do with. At the end of the day, that's got to do with you and Joe. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't worried about that as far as how loyal this, that, or the other. I don't care about that. I just thought it was going to be easy. So I was like, yo, they tell me about it. I'm like, that should be no problem. Give me Pierce's number. Let me find Pierce and tell him to bring TA. What the are we going to do? I don't know. He violated. He got to get handled accordingly. No one's going to stab him up. Piercing my end. Nobody's found out this in yet. Cuban link shit, bro. He's over there at Castle Hill all day. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Don't tell me nothing about Pierce, Pistol Pete. Pierce, you can't help that guy. Personally, I don't care. Nobody went over there to pound him out, though. He's still right now in the air and talking ish. Nobody ever wants to pound him out. Okay, Pistol Pete says you can't count that guy. Personally, it doesn't matter. Nobody went over there to pound him out. Pistol Pete, listen, I don't see him. I'm in the street. I'm in every club. I'm in Spanish language. Piercy, bro, that bitch is not coming outside. It's not coming outside. Pistol Pete, I'm just saying, I'm in every fucking everybody. I'm over here with these ends on that block. I'm over here in Fox with these ends. I'm in everybody's hub every fucking day. I'm out here. I'm not gonna lie to you. And bro, I don't see the end. I'm just telling you, he's a different flow for an end to come out. You know what? Sometimes it bothers me when an end that puts you on, certain story, like I put TA on. TA was nobody from my hood. He's a little end from my hood. Yes, you did. You brought TA around. Yes. Pistol Pete, he's a little end from my hood, and every end from my hood wanted to pound him out. TA is a little end in the hood. He ain't nobody. So I'm saying I'll put him on because his uncle was my son. He wasn't even my man. He was my son too, and he knows that. Personally, know whatever that is. I'm just saying that. That's cool. You picked him, you brought him around, you dropped him off, and you left. So you don't know what's been going on after you left, Pete. You don't know what's been happening, Pistol Pete. I just know it's not the way to go. He's on the computer talking on the computer, and whatever. There's a whole lot of ish that's not cool. Cross talk. Percy, nobody said anything when Tone Sunshine was around with Cuban links doing the same fucking thing, bro. Y'all ends don't know. Ends got selective. That's just selective memory. Pistol Pete, no, that ain't selective. Percy, yes, it is selective, bro. It's selective. Pistol Pete, you know what's going on through Purse. People was unintelligible 8 minutes 45 seconds about the way, like, hey, ops ish. You know what ends worry about. Ends ain't worrying about no ends. Just sweating everything. Ends ain't even worrying about him saying about Ryan all that. Joe's not even pressed about that. Percy, when did he say that, though? Is this new? Pistol Pete, he had told the dog, yes, bro, I'm going to tell you the truth, bro. Percy, oh, no. I know when they spoke about 6 months ago, 7 longer than. I know that they spoke last year sometime. Him and Joe was on the phone, and Joe told, because I was listening to a conversation with Joe, said something that he was going to talk about pay ops and all that, but I know that's Pistol Pete, that's it. Percy, he ain't saying nothing on the internet right now about that. Pistol Pete, no, he didn't, but this is the reason why. But this is the reason that Dern is going crazy because of that. Not because it was the writing ish and all that. He don't care because that's not easy to prove. All right, but he's not doing that, though. I don't think that's what he's going to do. But I know Ends is fake, trying to get points with Joe. Trying to be like, yo, I'm going to get him, and nobody's going to touch TA, bro. Pistol Pete, let me tell you something. If I build the end act up, I feel like the end in all of 9 minutes, 59 seconds. I feel like he's never gotten robbed because he was doing great, more than he was doing before when I met him. When he was in the hood doing ish, a bum, I took him off that ish, put him around Joe. He came, he decided he wanted to be a hype man. He decided he wanted to be a rapper no more. You want to be a hype man. I told him, well, stay from your artist. Chill, stay from with the artist. Don't go into the hype man ish. Got cut with the whole hype ish. Want to be on the road. He to the life and ish like that. He said, fuck all that ish. I'll do this. I was like, okay, then that's what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? It was something that he decided he wanted to do. I never told TA, never told that N to go and become fucking Joe's hype man. I told him, don't do that, man. Just stay firm. Keep it the way it is. Joe's going to make you his artist. That's it. You're going to come out with music. But all that hype, man, all that, he was like, no, I want to go on the road. And that's what he did. I couldn't hold his hand. I was like, yes, right then. On top of that, I never seen a dog come out for all the inaudible 10 minutes and 57 seconds. All the money, he got all the bread he had back off the plane, fresh out of the drawer with stupid bread. Yo, yes, I got to pay this. I just got a baby. It's always something new and unintelligible. 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Percy, no, I understand because that's how it was for him. He always having an excuse. He always had something to do with crosstalk. You're right, crosstalk. Pistol Pete, yes, he's always stupid. I'm legit. I'm like Cologne. Not Cologne, child. 11 minutes, 18 seconds. Percy, let me ask you this, though, Pete. Why are you talking about, yo, he never gave me no charge or nothing? You ain't seen or spoke to this N for years. Pistol Pete, I spoke to him about it. I talked to him. He knows. I'm just telling you, I'm vibing with you that I never bothered him. Never gave a fuck about that ish because I want him to be okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if I bring an N around, and it's just like when you bring somebody around the Afia, he goes bad and it was on your ish. You bust open until you get cut. It's just like you being down for game and the end you bought. Personally, no, I understand that. I understand, Pistol Pete. I hope you don't have to break that down on you, but you never. 1153, unintelligible person. No, I understand that. Of course, my thing to use, he is violating, bro. Can't do that, bro. Percy, what did he say to violate? He's just saying what? Pistol Pete, just going on the internet, doing that, bro. Just going on the internet, violating, doing that. Child, this conversation here. Jesus Christ. Then, bro, you gotta get pounded out too. Then that's it. You gotta get pounded out too. Now you're joking, bro, from Pistol Pete. No, I'm not joking. I'm dead ass. If Joe would have felt like because he went on air and said, yo, I need money for music, I wrote, then you gotta get pounded out. He never wrote no music. He's lying. First, you on the internet, Pistol Pete, he's lying. How do you know, Pete? How do you know, Pistol Pete? Come on, because I know, bro. You weren't there, man. Yo, I was around before you came around. Crosstalk. Personally, Pete, you were not there, but you were not there, though. Pete, you were not there, bro. Stop. You were there. Those people, you were there. I was there for everything. You witnessed that he wrote shit for Joe. It's like, we're almost there, y'all. Good Lord. I mean, it just keeps going and 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 going. I mean, just, whew, okay. Where were we? Oh my God. $12.46 Percy. What I'm saying to you is that I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm telling you, I was there for everything. I was there for everything. You were there for a lot of things. I was there for all the same ends. You rich when all you ends were scared to go to Africa because everyone was scared. Everyone was scared of fucking 1309. I didn't go. You talking about me, crosstalk, bro. I'm talking about everybody. Percy, Pistol Pete. I'm the only end down all that. I was the only end that Tony Yayo was getting out to this day. Man, Tony Yayo, a fed. I don't know what he's talking about. Pistol Pete, yes, because it was real. I did chase some things down. It was me by myself. I ain't seen nobody else. I don't know. My Lord. So basically what this call is saying, right? And I mean, you see it goes on here. But basically, it was saying that TA basically broke protocol, and there's an argument between Pistol Pete and Percy of what to do about TA, right? So it seems like Percy is trying to protect TA. Pistol Pete is not here for it, right? And then Rich Player comes in here. So, whew, my Lord. While actively campaigning for former Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign, defendant made direct threats to plaintiff from his Instagram burner account, Big Eek. Fat Joe gets a powerful endorsement of Kamala Harris. My Latinos, where's the Ogolo? Where's your pride? So some references here. Right here, I'm going to remember the way that, do you know I know you? You are crazy. It's up. I got you. I owe you in LOL. You think so? LOL. I'm not. Let's see. Connections to the White House. Okay, you so washed up bum. Are you crazy? So I'm guessing that the gray is Fat Joe, and then the purple is TA. I'm guessing. Defendant was not lying when he had connections at the White House as evidenced by the one-on-one meeting he had then with President Kamala Harris. In addition to the one-on-one meeting with then Vice President Kamala Harris, defendant moderated criminal justice panel with Vice President Kamala Harris. Even had the audacity to bring one of the henchmen and RICO Enterprise officers, Rich Player, to meet Vice President Kamala Harris. Upon information and belief, while defendant was in the middle of moderating a criminal justice panel, he was actively using his RICO Enterprise to set the order of plaintiff. Defendant Karenga also brags about his political connections to former presidents. Unbeknownst to President Clinton, he unintentionally accepted a award pair of sneakers that donned the name of criminal RICO organization. Defendant Karenga political reach does not stop at the White House. In August of 2024, Defendant Karenga was presented a key to New York City by New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Plaintiff believes that Defendant Karenga's confidence in openly threatening him to put a hit out on him is due to his political protection. In the following Instagram message, defendant confirms his RICO Enterprise when he says, "Don't need to lift a finger. Biggest in the game. Everyone's willing to do it for me. Bring them out. Make it happen. Hurry up. I don't need to lift a finger. Biggest in the game. You're not stopping for nothing. Everyone's willing to do it for me." Plaintiff perceived the word "it" to mean that defendant's going to have him ill. In the following messages, defendant makes his intentions very clear. He intends to do bodily harm to plaintiff. 1, and you will get dragged. 2, he's wanting the plaintiff to watch his back. Everyone is outside as he's had ample opportunities to ill plaintiff or have the plaintiff ill, but be very careful what you live. For what with that ish, I've been weighing. I guarantee it won't be how you think it's going to go down. And please, I'll watch how many times you freeze, try to end, and you will get dragged. You know what's up. Never all truth. It's going to keep going and going and going. But be very careful what you live. I am you want to see. Should have, did right. Homie, what you thought. Not scared you is. Don't you ever forget your life. Person here. Everyone's outside. Me too. Plaintiff perceived these messages to mean the defendant was going to have him ill or physically harm. Plaintiff better watch his back. And then right here, defendant took his threats a step further by making explicit threat to harm plaintiff's family, the majority of whom lives in the Bronx, New York. Yes, you love your family, right? You look sick, very sick, keep watching, but you feel that you're a part of it, good or bad, feel good part of it, you not dying, and you love your family, right? Plaintiff perceived this message to mean that defendant was going to ill or physically harm plaintiff's family. In the following Instagram message, defendant brags about strong armor and YouTuber to remove a felon to release interviews of plaintiff, where plaintiff publicly explained harm to the defendant. Explain the harm defendant visited upon him. Sharice, no, I don't, but you do. You know what I got right. Big business is business. Biggest in the game. You're not ready. Look around. Any videos coming out that got real quiet. What happened? Biggest in the game. Plaintiff was informed that several YouTubers received direct threats from the defendant's burner accounts of the defendant's henchmen. In the following messages, defendant attempts to lure plaintiff into one of his RICO enterprises up NYC and further taunts plaintiff to lure plaintiff outside so he can get ill. Racism, don't worry, just know I will. You know the rest. Everyone's broke. LOL. Okay, let's see. Come to up NYC. LOL. Okay, let's see. Y'all sending threats. Come see me if you that in. I dare you ends come outside. Plaintiff believes that defendant Karenga is attempting to lure him outside so that he can have plaintiff ill or physically injured. The plaintiff is convinced that the defendants are determined to ill him. Child, listen. That's what y'all want. I know you want me coming. You come get me. You can be with whoever, but remember, everyone by themselves. When you turn that corner, you're right. It will be legendary. This statement is significant because it comes from private conversation plaintiff had with defendant on multiple occasions where defendant warned plaintiff never to walk ahead of their group where they travel because you can be a party in third, but if you walk off and turn corner ahead of the group, you become a party in one and are susceptible to enemy attack. And another Instagram message confirming his identity. Defendant informs plaintiff that plaintiff wouldn't got anywhere if it wasn't for defendant me. You're terrible. You're ugly racist. Pick your man who you want. If I pick him, you wouldn't got anywhere if it wasn't me. If it wasn't for me, you wasn't even going to be out Cyprus. You would be couch surfing. Couch surfing is just going from one couch to another, everybody. In the following Instagram message, defendant subtly reminds plaintiff of the consequences of being cut from the terror squad stated earlier. Defendant or face slash a former terror squad member Cuban, hurry up, I got it. You're fading my hands. I know I'm ever remember I told you it's in game. You already know what happens when you get cut. You get cut from everywhere. Plaintiff believes defendant's gonna have him ill or his face buck 50 slashed. In the following Instagram message from defendant Sensman, Pistol Pete's burner account named Pablo Barr guarantees he will give plaintiff buck 50. This is the same Pistol Pete who promised person that nobody's going to add plaintiff up. I'm gonna give a buck 50. Suck my D. What's up? Wow. Right here, Pistol Pete used several burner Instagram accounts to send direct death threats and threats of violence to plaintiffs on defendant's behalf, but not limited to Dr. Zavig. In the following Instagram message, Pistol Pete confirms Dr. Zavig Instagram account belongs to him. You are not the real Pistol Pete. And so we don't know who this is. This isn't Fat Joe. Do you want to fight? You don't want to fight though. You're a pussy, super pussy. I'm telling you, I got you. Plaintiff believes Pistol Pete brazen paid to out himself as evidence of defendant's determination to ill physically hurt plaintiff. Can't wait. I got something for any of you. Ends the day that happens and very far from pussy. Ask your man's homie hide behind fake burner. Behind fake account. The summer is turned up for Joe, and you got 48 hours to fall back. You've been warned, son. So what happened? Fall back. Waiting for you ends. Y'all ain't doing nothing yet. Stop with the tough talk. Yeah, but I got something special for you. Want that street cred? I'm not playing with you all. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to you. I'm far from pussy. I'm sure going to give it to you and keep playing with me. Oh, Peter Kringa's with me. You could have Jesus with you and you food. We're going to eat whatever you say. You put that video up, I'll make you pay the worst way, pussy nigga. Child. You don't think you got to be made an example of? Yep, that's what I'm doing to you. Others will understand not to cross you a big one. Plaintiff perceives this threat from defendant as a guarantee that he will either be ill or physically harmed, as defendant is left with no choice but to make an example out of him. Stabbing of rivals for to catch up. Plaintiff confronted defendant Karinga about this incident by Instagram Messenger, and defendant Karinga via his second burn account warned plaintiff to step back or fall back. Warning on top of the other ones, what happened to Brenda, the blood drop, your baby mama, what happened, step back, fall back. Woo! So apparently there was a burner phone number ending in 1330 to facilitate exportation trafficking. Plaintiff personally witnessed defendant Karinga use this burner phone to communicate with underage girls, particularly during the late night hours or in the days leading up to out-of-town travel. These communications frequently occur while defendant Karinga was in hotel rooms, tour buses, or private locations, including the movement of firearms and narcotics, and to communicate with enterprise enforcers and drug distributors in the Bronx and Miami. This burner phone served as a critical operation tool for avoid detection, prevent GPS tracking, invading subpoenas, and wiretaps. So there was a phone utilized there. Cafe Ketchup incident, Sing Sing prison, and blood. Now, if you don't know what Sing Sing's all about, Sing Sing was a prison that I think it was Karen Huger talked about, that her and Giselle went to Sing Sing. So that's where that comes from. That's the only reason why I know that, right? So defendant Karinga routinely directed directed violent retaliation against those who defied or disrespected him. These orders were often issued in cold phrases, giving ketchup a euphemism for stabbing or slashing. The term cafe ketchup instigates incident in which JB, a member of the Enterprise, instigated confrontation outside the restaurant. Assault of land rap artists after perceived on disrespect. Defender Karinga has historically responded to public criticism of violence, particularly within the music industry. According to plaintiff, one such retaliatory act may have involved a Latin rapper known as Redacted, who made disparaging comments about Defender Karinga online. When ends goes against the die, you see what happens. He got on like ugly. Also, defendants threatened to assault rapper Mac Main. Defender Karinga ordered him to physically assault rapper Mac Main, Jermaine Anthony Pran, a well-known artist affiliated with the Young Money label. I know that fat defendant and ain't fucking his wife right. I fuck the shit out of her if I get the chance. Oh, well, there is that. Child, listen. Of course, the burner phone here. Defender Karinga used the burner phone with the phone number ending in 1330. Secretly communicate with underage girls and other impressionable individuals, many of whom were transported across state lines to accompany him on tour. 10 private events were engaged in sexual acts. Number 2, coordinate sex traffickers and enforcers, specifically including defendants Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Ridgeplay Joseph to facilitate the grooming, movement, exploitation of victims, relay sensitive enterprise directives, including instructions condemning violence, retaliation, of this activity. Also, to Pistol Pete and Richard Play's recorded attempts to lure plaintiff in a trap. Of course, that phone call, that long phone call, that I read part of their coded enterprise language was used on the call, such as pound him out, bring him in, get at him, which were understood within the enterprise to signify physical violence. If he acts up, take the hammer. Defendants directed assault on rapper DMX. Defendant or plaintiff and another associate Raw to confront and physically assault the rapper DMX, following verbal dispute between DMX and someone in his circle. The phrase "take the hammer" was understood from the enterprise as authorization to use a firearm, not simply engage in verbal physical confrontation. That parent also includes an alleged murder for hire plot targeting Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent. Oh my Lord Jesus, not 50 Cent in this. Defendant earned over $3.7 million between 2007 and 2010 through business entities, including Terror Squad Productions, Mara Music Touring, and FJTS Corp. He failed to file income taxes for those years and did not make any meaningful attempt to rectify delinquencies until criminally charged. He was ordered to pay $718,038 unpaid taxes, $515,000, and sentenced to 4 months of federal prison, followed by 1 year supervised release. These facts are documented in the incident plea agreement, judgment, conviction, and Department of Justice press statements. Wow. Child. Upon information, kill all rats if an organization created and ran by a defense Pistol Pete Karinga, Richard Player. So this was a YouTube video. Kill all rats, how a Puerto Rican gangster terrorized the New York prison system. So that's part of it. So here are all the predicated acts. So forced labor of TA, that's 1. Sex trafficking, a plaintiff TA, witness retaliation, that's number 3. Conspiracy to commit violence, redacted. Number 5, DMX directive, Latina Latin rapper stabbing, Ketchup Cafe, Ketchup incident, Mac May assault. Number 8, interstate sex traffic of minors. Number 9, commercial fraud up in wide, tax evasion, money laundering. Number 11, public use of ketchup code. 12, PPP loan fraud. 13, unauthorized legal practice. 14, structuring, laundering via shell codes. 15, wage traffic coercion, the assault of Dre Clappy. I'm still like surprised that like 50 Cent is a part of this, because I thought, 50 Cent and Fat Joe were cool. I've never heard, anything that they had a problem. Wow. I saw Dre Clappy, money laundering via Up NYC, online threats, intimidation 19, ghost contracts, royalty fraud 20, forced exhibition, sexual degradation 21, wire fraud, tax fraud, coercive, wage theft, statute violated 22, 23, structuring, wire fraud, laundering of enterprise records through layered bank accounts 23, and 24, pay fraud, tax classification, coercive, financial structuring statutes violated. Ooh. Here are all the people involved here. 79. I'm trying to get through it all, y'all. Because, child. Right here, patterns of violence. In Miami, defender Karinga or two teenage boys just saw a man who had inadvertently walked through a group affiliated with the enterprise. The man, armed in self-defense, fatally powed both teens. Their deaths were a foreseeable outcome of the defense course leadership style, which normalized confrontation and violence as acceptable forms of conflict resolution. Cafe Ketchup and Sing Sing events. The enterprise coined the phrase Cafe Ketchup to refer to retaliatory stabbing that occurred after altercation involving Enterprise member JB. Another incident involved murder, for which, according to defendants' admissions, another individual is now serving a life sentence in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. A conviction defendant has openly mocked, both said they can never pin it on me. Recorded retaliation attempts against the plaintiff. Talked about that earlier. The burner phone. Of course, read those there. Causes of action: 1, violation of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA. So you got forced labor, sex trafficking by coercion, venue liability, and pattern-based enterprise. Defending transporting underage girls, 15, 16-year-olds across state lines. Enterprise used financial incentives, cosmetic surgery, control, lodging to maintain with the compliance and psychological grooming of these minors who were discarded as once non-compliant. Rock Nation role as a venue participant under 18. Then here is a pay stub. Over more than a decade, plaintiff witnessed defend, groom, isolate, sexually exploit minors, often under the pretense of mentorship, access, or career advancement in the music industry. These minors were transported across state and national borders by or at defendant's direction. Child, this is just... We're almost done, y'all. I'm going to try to read the Daily Boat of Air, then head on out of here. See all that there. And by the way, this lawsuit is in the description box below, okay? Because, child, this is, of course, quantum merit. I'm showing y'all everything here. Much as I can. And then here is the map of everybody. Ooh. This is just crazy. I mean, good damn. We did read the minors involved, right? We did read that. I mean, these are a lot of accusations for sure. Public use catch-ups to signal stabbing Tory Lane's statement. Tory Lanez is a part of this, apparently. Share companies. I didn't see 50 Cent in this, or maybe I already passed it. All right, here. The plot involved tracking 50 Cent's movements via his performance schedule and attempting to ambush him at multiple public venues. Despite the failure to carry out this deletion, defendant statements confirmed his role as an intellectual author, financier of an murder conspiracy designed to eliminate a perceived rival and solidify defendant's dominance within the entertainment industry and criminal enterprise. Enraged, defendant Karenga openly admitted to placing a bag over 50 Cent's head, street slang for a bounty, and expressed frustration that he had not succeeded in executing the plot. Defendant Karenga engaged in a calculated, premeditated conspiracy to murder rapper Curtis Jackson, known professionally as 50 Cent. Around the winter 2006-2007, defendant Karenga was residing in Miami when he received a call reporting 50 Cent's presence at a New York venue. Defendant Karenga ordered the hit, but 50 Cent was surrounded by naval SEAL type security. The would-be assassins were afraid to make the attempt. So there's that there. I'm like, whoa. And apparently there was a convention. Something happened there. Plaintiff was deigned to compel a 17-year-old daughter to spend some time with Karenga in his hotel room in North Carolina, marking an event there. On one such occasion, defendant Karenga forced plaintiff to solicit a female attendee on the yacht. Time plaintiff was talking to one of Jennifer Lopez dancers on the yacht. Defendant Karenga forced plaintiff to abandon his conversation, solicit a female attendee. Child. Oof. I'm just showing you the rest of the pages here, y'all. This is a lot. I mean, you see Fat Joe being investigated for sexual assault. That was a TMZ article that came out in 2019. That N got Snake. Look at that ND. Get your dick hard, TA. Get your dick hard, TA. Talk about that at the top of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get down to it, 157 pages here. Y'all, that's it. Child. Like I said, what in the flying fuck is going on here? Y'all, listen, let's get the Daily Motivator. At first, I'm just like, wait a minute, this is about not getting paid. But as we're reading, right, there may be something there, but we gotta wait to see what it is. But that song about Wayne, the lyrics to that song about, you know, I gotta wait till she's 15 and the cat thing, that was, let's do it. The Daily Motivator, that is. From era to era, one discovers the truth. Friday, June 20th, we're away. How do you give yourself more time? The best way is to start early. What needs to be finished a month from now, get on today. Rushing at the last minute is insufficient and real with anxiety. Save yourself the aggravation and get it done early. It's a whole lot better to be wondering what to do than to be sweating over where you have enough time. Plan and act in advance to ensure plenty of time. It's true that you can't anticipate everything. It's all the more reason to get early, start what you can anticipate. If it will be to be done eventually, it's probably the best time to do it right now. Reduce the drama and increase your effectiveness by starting early rather than late. So, first thing, right away, right? Sometimes we need to breathe in terms of doing everything right away. Sometimes we need to breathe in, you know, how we move. When I saw this lawsuit, I'm like, let me do some research. And as you saw, 157 pages. In the same token, that was 157 pages. That does not mean that did need to be talked about. So sometimes when we feel the energy to do something right away, maybe we need to be still and take time to think things through. That's one. Number two, right after that, save yourself the aggravation and get done early. There's nothing wrong with getting it done early, but also to make sure that every step is a interlocked connection in order to get everything done. That's the second thing I'll tell you. And finally, reduce the drama and increase your effectiveness. You will never be able to escape all the drama of trying to make your dreams come true, right? But in the same tone that you can't reduce all the drama, you are also in control of the drama that you create, right? So just wanted to say that, because sometimes I feel like having an increased perspective, while it may hurt other people, it's only hurting other people if they're not aware. Never apologize for you getting smarter. Somebody doesn't like you being smart, that just means they're dumb, and you just need to choose somebody different or choose other people different yourself. I'm gonna turn on my camera now because we've done the whole show for over an hour. Yes, we have. With that being said, everybody, that's the show. One love, much love, all love. I feel the love and send it right back to you as the fireworks going off behind us here. With that being said, know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special, because you are always born a blessing and trust. You may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why? One thing to call yourself. It's another thing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. Hopefully, I spend time together. We'll break together. And always remember, where you're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life, or child, you are just recognizing that, hey, listen, whatever we thought we knew about the world, it has been shit for a long time. Make sure the replay is not just for if you watch it, not just for listen to it, but for you want to experience it again. I love you. I value. I embrace you all. Always remember, receive love. You gotta give it, or receive love. You gotta give it, or receive love. You gotta give it. Whatever obstacles you have overcome, where successes you have achieved upon this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you, but no one else is proud of you. Be proud of your damn self, y'all. And finally, y'all, for the love of God, can we please be better than this right here? Now, she was only 16. I had to nurture that, give her some growth. I waited until I touched that cat. She told me she was going to have to do some work if she going to get ahead. Then she drove me berserk when she gave me some head. She told me that she learned that from the Orno flicks. I said, Mama, start talking and suck on the cream stick. And I saying her, now I ain't saying her name yet, so let's just say she none that watch me turn this nothing into something. Get it? Can we please be better than making music like this? Please and thank you. And I meant to say 16, not 13, okay? Just was trying to remember the lyrics. Commercial break and fireworks coming your way for the day that was, for the day that's come, for the blessings the only way for you, me, all of us, as a society, as a people, as a culture. I feel love, and I send it right back to you. Have a wonderful weekend. Love you all. Bye.
I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now, they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, A new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery. An isle of fire-breathing excitement. A shadowy world of monsters and mystery. New wonders in the wizarding world. And a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.